Hi guys, we are going to work on something for the season coming up, some pumpkins. And I just want to show you that you can take any color of and make a pumpkin into it. And you'll see that a lot these days, all the way from now through the fall holidays. But I want you to see that I've saved my paints from Wednesday's class here, Relax and Paint. And I'm going to take those and show you how to take those and use them right here and make a pumpkin that's got some pretty different colors. All right. So first of all, I'm going to sketch out my pumpkin, and it just helps you, to take and get a shape that, and pumpkins sometimes are tall and skinny. So, and what we're going to do as we come around is we have segments in the pumpkin, okay? And then in the middle, there's like an oval, right? And so down here, sometimes it doesn't show, but that's what you're going to do. And then at the top, we're going to take this from the stem, right? But I want to put a big flower in here, okay? And so you won't see as much of the stem, but we can still come up here and do a little bit of a stem. Okay, and then some leaves. So what do you think? We're going to come right around here since I have pinks and all in here. I think that might be fun. I'm going to use my 16 first, and I'm going to come in here with some yellow ochre and white and maybe some little bit of I think I used bumblebee the other day, but you can use daffodil. All right, now that's drying out pretty fast, so I need to put, because I'm on paper, this is an art pad that's got gray tones. You can do blue tones, all kinds. And these are, you can put it in an inexpensive frame, like from the Dollar Tree, and give it instead of a card. This is 184 pound. So this is a really nice weight. Okay, now look, I'm just going to go back and forth and work this in. And I'm going to come back over here and get white and bumblebee and yellow ochre. So if I have a big ridge, I can brush it off into the painting, a ridge of acrylic. Okay, so we're going to come around here, and we're going to come around here, and then we're going to have one lump there and a one there. All right, so I'm not worried about whether I cover that flower some or not. I'm going to bring some yellow in here, yellow in here. Okay, so let's pick up yellow ochre and the bumblebee again. Okay, let's work that in. And let's work this in here with some medium. Need to come back in here and get some medium. Okay. And I'm losing my shape right there. There we go. So we're going to come right in the middle. And see, I can just fill that in, but then come back and come all the way down and grab a little bit more and bring it there. All right. Now, a couple of things that can happen. I can just grab white and yellow and bring some highlights. The white and the bright yellows. Okay. But I can also come in here with some neon pink or bright pink because we're going to have some pink flowers in here. So let's brush some up from here. I think this will make a pretty pumpkin. Depends on what your colors are. You can do blues like this, pull up teals, greens. like basil green, some pretty green colors. All right. So just a little bit, just have a good time. I can even a little bit later come up here with some asphaltum. I said later, and here I'm doing it now. Take some medium and get some asphaltum. But I'm just saying I'm going to bring some from the top a little bit. All right, so now look what happens. I'm going to take the medium and go ahead and make the stem. And this is still the 16. I'm going to bring it around. And I can take a smaller brush up here. Isn't that kind of fun? Bring it around. This is the one script liner. I had a little caffeine this morning. So you can put some gold on here too, like metallic gold in the stem. I do that sometimes. All right. But look, I can make this inky with water because it's pretty thick. That's why it wasn't moving. Roll it. Okay, now I'm gonna turn it around and watch this. All right, so I can clean it up. Oops, there we go. I can bring this from here. And then I can take around here. Okay, and have that stem come up a little bit. Now I'm gonna wash this out and I'm gonna put the flower in before I add some leaves and all, which normally I do them afterwards anyway, but I want you to see I'm going to pick up some white, some magenta, and I'm going to go in between that and pick up some of that bright pink. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to pick a little bit more white up. Keep picking up some magenta because it needs that. But look, you got to work it in really good or you're not going to get any pretty color. All right, so I'm going to come right here. All right, is this dry enough? It might be a little brown, but we can try it. I could dry that off with the heat pen, actually, but I didn't. Okay, now see, you can see by this, I needed to work it in just a little bit more. Right here, put your little finger to steady yourself, guys. This is using the leftover paint. This is figuring out what can I do with that. I sit there and I make greeting cards, or you can make just a few extra pieces. Just be creative for your show booth or for gifts. Having some extra paintings sitting around is wonderful when you have to run out with a gift. I can run in here to my studio and go, what do I have? What do I have? Especially if I have games or little party, party favors, or and I leave somebody out or find out somebody's birthday. I'm like, oh my gosh. With my grandkids, I like to have something here and say, oh, go pick out a painting for your room. Okay, so I got this big pink flower right there. All right, and from there, I'm gonna put a couple of stems, and let's just use some muted green in here with floating medium. I've got that asphaltum and thicket that I used earlier. Okay. And I'm going to come across here and here and make a few green leaves. And then let's see if I come across here. All right. And I could shade underneath this. We'll do that a little bit later. But let's let me pick up and put a couple more blossoms in here. So What doesn't look good is the the gel pink, neon pinks with white. You can't blend them too well, so I was just going to show you kind of how that looks. If you do it, you're just going to get a little pastel look. It won't be quite the same as if you were making magenta turn pink. But I can put a few of these in here because we're going to put some leaves and some yellow flowers. But look, I can push the hill and push the hill, and we're going to come right along here, right here, all around. We put some little leaves. But see, isn't that pink going to look kind of pretty? So if we just keep going like that, you're going to see that it is going to look really pretty with, but see how light they are? They're really pretty transparent. And that's okay too. But I'm going to pick up some yellow ochre and a little bit of white. All right, white, grab a little bit of medium and yellow ochre. Okay, so now what's going to happen here is I can come here. Oops. And I'm just using the toe. I'm leaning the yellow ochre in, but I'm making the toes, making the flower petal. All right, so right here, a little bit of white. See, I'm just leaning that heel into the flower and using the white to get this pretty color in here. And I think that needed that. Isn't that kind of nice? All right. Now, what we're going to do with the greens, I'm going to take and come right in here. I could use a smaller brush, but if I use a bigger brush when I'm doing lots of pieces so that I'm quicker, if you start doing a ton of detail, detail looks really nice, but if you're trying to sell it or you've got deadlines where you're trying to get a lot of painting done, just use like this is a 12 instead of a 6. I would like little teeny leaves in here, but maybe you can do this and just come back and add just a couple more um, at the end, little delicate ones instead of even curly cues. All right, and I'm going to put a little bit of that green in the center of the flowers. Push, push. And so I'm trying not to make it, they don't have to be fancy. Push, slide. All right, but before I go any further, is that kind of fun? I'm going to take some medium on the 12, and I'm going to get a little bit of asphaltum, and I'm going to come right under here. It's still wet, which you can use the heat pen, but if I'm doing 2 or 3 at one time, and by the time I get through with the third one, this will be dry enough that I can go back and do all this at the same time to the rest of them. Now, I can do a couple things. I can put this darkness here. I can also take extra on the outside edge of that segment. See? Now look, it's okay like that, but you can also get a cool look by doing it by adding more. Okay, so look, I'm going to come right in here. You need to let all that green dry, and I'm not. Okay. All right, so I can also, all right, let's see. I can get some medium and come get a little bit of thicket. Like I might want a little bit more in here. A little bit of dark in there. All right. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to put a little bit of brown in here. Okay. I'm going to also take my rake brush with this thin paint and just thin out with water in here because I was making it inky. And I can put a little bit of browns in here. All right. And that's the way you can do with a liner. You can take and do a little bit of inky into the flower, which could come from the center. Because you want it all to kind of flow with the pinks and the browns. All right. And then I can take this scruffage, take off a little bit of the brown, go right in here in the yellow ochre. And I can just tap it. See how I tap that and give it a little bit? You can also tap a little bit lighter in there. Okay. And then we're going to use the handle of the brush and put some brown asphaltum in the centers of there. Okay, so let's go back to that rake brush. Okay, so I think I need a little white. All right, just a little bit. There you go. Now I do like to come underneath with some browns. Take floating medium and asphaltum. Asphaltum and floating medium. And there we go. You can put a little bit darker underneath here. Just tap, 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 tap. Oh, I know what I was going to show you. A little teeny. So is this kind of fun? Taking whatever you have left, and make it work in here. Then we can take some brown and pink. Put a few little small brush strokes in here. Okay, so we can put 1, 2, 3, 4, and the pull a stem. So do you like the way that just picks up medium, so it looks a little transparent? It's nice too. And you can also use a 2 instead of a 6. You like that? Okay. I don't like that. Okay, there you go. We can also take a little liner with a little bit of white, inky. Okay, and I can sign it. But I can also come in here and I can add some white. Loose though, guys, real loose. Don't try to be exact. All right. All right. And just pull it all together. All right. Hope you like that. I was just using, and I still have more greeting cards, more fun little paintings I can do. And make sure you pop this shut. There you go. And you will have the paint for later. All right. All right, there's the practice strokes. Let's see what you do. Just take any colors you have left and show me what you do with them. Please come and join our Facebook group. It's the Donna Dewberries with the S official one stroke group. And you have to answer a couple questions so we know you're real. And come join us. You won't believe the paintings that people share. All right, thank you so much. Please go subscribe and share with your friends. Bye.